These are the Edifier MR4 bookshelf speakers that are actually powered. In some cases, some people might actually use these as mini studio monitors. They supposedly go up to 20 kilohertz and go down to 60 hertz. Today, we're gonna go ahead and test them to see exactly how they perform and tell you if they're worth the $100 or $130 that they ask for them. So let's go ahead and take a look at the outside overview of this MR4 speaker. Now on the powered bookshelf speaker side, we do have your volume that goes up and down. We have a headphone input and an auxiliary input. So if you want to plug something else up to it, I love the fact that there's a headphone input here. That's really nice. The auxiliary jack, I mean, I guess it's nice. I'm not ever going to use it. There are some other ways to hook it up on the back. We'll get to that in just a minute. But before we do that, I want to take a closer look at the front baffle. If we take a look at the front baffle, what you'll notice is that the front baffle, there's a delineation between that and the main cabinet. And that's because the front baffle is actually a plastic piece that gets put on the front. It snaps into place. And it's interesting because what they've done is they've actually created a waveguide into the front baffle. And you can see that it's been molded right there into the plastic. And what a waveguide does is it allows the manufacturer of the speaker to determine the directionality of that tweeter. And in this particular case, it appears to be an even directionality, meaning that the horizontal and vertical dispersion of that tweeter go out the same direction, the same amount. That allows them to get a little bit better control of how that tweeter actually plays, which is a really cool thing. Although in this particular case, it looks and appears as if they did this more as an aesthetic reason more than a performance reason. But it's still pretty cool to see that they've done it. They've also rounded over the woofer part as well. Now, if we take a look at the back, we're gonna turn around the non-powered version first. We're gonna see a port on both of these. That port is a plastic port and it does have flaring on both sides. Now, the reason why you flare a port like this is so that you can give the speaker more power and allow it not to chuff at lower frequencies. And if you're not familiar with chuffing, basically what that means is you won't audibly hear the air coming out of it. At least that's the hope. It should reduce some of that. Now, when we take a look at the cabinet itself, the cabinet is made out of MDF, and that appears to be 3/8 inch MDF. So a little bit smaller than I would expect. I would expect more of a 1/2 inch than 3/8, but it is 3/8. They also use spring-loaded terminals. Not my favorite to use. I would rather see 5-way binding posts here, but honestly, in this price range, I can understand why they use spring-loaded. If we take a look at the back, this is where things start to get really interesting. They have both a treble and a bass knob to be able to fine-tune your bass and treble depending on where you place these. That's really important, especially if you're going to use this as a studio monitor, or if you just want to fine-tune and make it sound the way that you like. Below that is an RCA input, which is unbalanced. But what I find really interesting is they do have a TRS balanced input down here. And that's pretty cool because I don't expect to see balanced inputs in a speaker in this price range. So I really like seeing that. And of course, they have your speaker wire out. This plugs your other speaker in that powers the other speaker. So this is the only one that actually has the amplifier in it. Now they do claim these to be near-field monitors, meaning that most likely you're going to be pretty close to these. These aren't really necessarily designed to fill a whole room. They're designed to be like computer speakers or something of that nature, something really close by. So what I want to do is I want to do some testing on these. I want to test both the on-axis response as well as the off-axis response. And then I want to test these bass and treble knobs to see exactly what you're receiving when you get these Edifier speakers. So let's go ahead and test that right now.
The on-axis response was actually pretty impressive. It's fairly flat, all the way up to about 3 kilohertz. At 3 kilohertz, your treble does go up just a little, about 2 decibels from the rest of the response. And that's, of course, with our bass and treble directly in the center. Since they do tout this as a near-field desktop style monitor, I wanted to see what this did in a desk style setup, and when I put it directly on the desk, I got a little bit more of an even response, as you can see here. Although we did get a little bit of a dip between 2 and 3 kilohertz. As we take a look at the horizontal off-axis, I was very impressed with this speaker, much better than I ever expected it to do. As we go off-axis, 30 degrees, even more, we're just getting a really good linearity and really just the top end, which is what we expect falls off, and so I was very impressed with this. Now the bass knob was around plus or minus 4 decibels, but the treble knob is really what I wanted to pay attention to, because this does not act like a typical treble response knob. Instead, it acts more like a notch filter, and it's centered right around about 6 kilohertz as we go up and down. That is definitely atypical and not at all what I expected. What that does mean is that without any type of additional EQ, 10 to 20 kilohertz is always going to be a little bit louder than the rest of your response.
Now let me give you my final thoughts on these. First of all, for $100, these things are great. Even at 130, they're fantastic. They beat out significantly most of the other ones that I have ever seen. That wide horizontal off axis is fantastic. Should be able to move your head around while listening to Nearfield and get a good response no matter where you're listening to it. Now, having said that, these are absolutely Nearfield monitors. Make no mistake about it. I know they have that wide horizontal off-axis coverage like I showed you, but if you turn these up too loud, you will absolutely get distortion in them. And it is audible, and I don't like that. The other thing is if you turn the bass up too loud and you're really pushing the bass up, you can get audible port noise. So I say that to you because I don't want you to think that these speakers are like party style speakers next to your desk. They're not. They're monitor style speakers that go right next to the desk. In the $100 to $130 range, listening to them at normal moderate volumes, 86, 90 decibels, whatever, you'll be fine. Turn them up much past that, probably gonna have some issues. So for me, I think they're a great value as long as you know what you're buying. Now make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you get more reviews like this where we'll share the data with you and also tell you the truth behind what we believe about these things. If you want to pick up a pair of these, check the link down below. Make sure to link that. That definitely helps out the channel. All right, guys, make sure to like the video and please comment. I love hearing from you guys and, well, it helps the video out. So guys, thanks. This is Toys DIY Audio and I'm out.